The year is 1642. Russian armies have swept across Siberia, defeating every tribe they encountered. Most native peoples crumble quickly after a show of force by the Russian Cossacks. Aside from the brutal cold, conquering Siberia has been on easy mode. But near the Alazia River, everything changes. A Russian war party encounters an unknown tribe. The Cossacks arrogantly declare that these people are now subjects of the Tsar and must pay yasak, a tribute of furs and hostages. The tribe laughs, calls the Russians subhumans, and battle erupts. Chieftain Erestov later writes to the Tsar about this clash. He describes a grueling fight that lasts an entire day and night. A fight in which these people, who will soon be called the Chukchis, show no fear of firearms. While other tribes flee at the sound of guns, the Chukchi press forward with bows and arrows and unshakable bravery. What the Russians fail to realize is that they've just met a society built for survival and war. These nomadic reindeer herders live in one of the most remote, desolate regions of Siberia, where every man is raised to fight and endure hardship. Like a Siberian version of Sparta, they favor close combat and wear lamella armor made of walrus skin, reindeer ribs, and whalebone. Yet more frightening than their weapons is their ideology. They call themselves the only true humans, viewing all outsiders, including the Russians, as inferior. Naturally, the Russian Empire isn't about to give up. In 1652, they establish a fortified settlement called Anadyr, deep in Chukchi territory. But far from subduing the Chukchi, the fort becomes a constant target for raids. For the next 50 years, the Chukchi wreak havoc on Russian outposts, burning houses, destroying food, and seizing prisoners. By around 1700, an all-out conflict erupts when Russia expands operations into the Kamchatka Peninsula, needing to secure supply lines against constant Chukchi attacks. Russia organizes military campaigns in 1701, 1708, 1709, and 1711. All see heavy casualties, but yield no decisive victory. The Chukchis remain mobile and resilient, always one step ahead. In 1729, after countless raids, the Russian government in St. Petersburg decides enough is enough. They send two armies east to conquer the Chukotka Peninsula. Within a year, one force is ambushed and loses its commander. The other is led by Dmitry Pavlutsky, whose scorched earth tactics, burning villages, seizing reindeer, capturing women and children, terrify the Chukchi. He weakens them, but never fully brings them to heel. Promoted to major, Pavlutsky eventually leaves without achieving victory. Then comes a darker turn. In 1734, the Russians attempt biological warfare by releasing a Chukchi prisoner wearing clothes infected with smallpox. An epidemic follows. But by the early 1740s, the Chukchi are back to raiding, enraged. In 1742, the Russian Senate formally orders the extermination of the Chukchis. Those who resist are to be killed, survivors deported. Once again, Pavlutsky is sent in. By now he's become the devil incarnate to the Chukchi, known for his relentless cruelty. From 1744 to 1747, the Russians wage a merciless campaign of annihilation. Yet the Chukchi refuse to break. In 1747, they feign retreat, draw the Russians out from a fort, surround them, and crush them. Pavlutsky, the so-called Great Devil, is killed. The Chukchi cut off his head and keep it as a trophy. By now, Russia has spent over a century trying to conquer these true humans with little to show for it. Anadyr remains manned by a large garrison, yet raids continue. Travel in the area is perilous at best, deadly at worst. Finally, in 1762, Russia calls it quits. The fort at Anadyr is burned and abandoned, and the empire withdraws. Ironically, once Russia stops its offensives, the Chukchi begin trading peacefully. In 1778, a formal peace is declared. The Russians label the Chukchi as subjects, but in reality, leave them alone. Official records even say the Chukchi live by their own laws and pay tribute in whatever amount they themselves wish. In modern terms, it's like signing a deal with your government that lets you pay taxes only if you feel like it. Unsurprisingly, the Chukchi never paid real taxes. They remained essentially independent until the collapse of the Russian Empire in 1917.